G'day guys, I'm CaptDeadmeat and welcome to a very special video. In today's video, we are turning 5 years old. That's right, the CaptDeadmeat channel is 5 years old. And I thought it'd be really cool if we go back and check out some of the old content that I released and see how bad some of the things were. And check out some of the fun moments as well. Before we do that, smack the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. That way you're not going to miss out on any of the content I release for you guys. Okay, before we start this, I would like to say a huge thank you to everybody who has ever come to my channel and checked out all the content. It amazes me that so many people have been interested in checking out my content. I am nearly at 1,500 subscribers, which blows my mind. But what blows my mind even more is the fact that over 140,000 people have viewed my content. This is mind-blowing that so many people have come out to check out my content, and a huge thank you to everyone who ever has. And as I said, what I think would be really fun is go back and check out some of the very first videos I made and check out all of the fun moments that have happened in the past 5 years. So welcome guys to a look at some of the fantastic content that I've released over the past 5 years. And I think it's really important that we go back to the very beginning. 5 years ago on this date, I released the very first playthrough video for a game called Until Dawn. At the time of releasing this, I wasn't entirely sure what sort of content I was actually going to make, whether it be playthroughs. I originally was actually planning on making my channel into a Madden channel, but unfortunately I decided, or fortunately, I decided to expand into much more content, and I started with Until Dawn. It was a game that had just come out and I wanted to do a playthrough of it. Now, when I actually did a playthrough of this game, I was extremely nervous. It was the first time I had ever recorded something. I decided not to make a face cam because I didn't want people to see my face at the time. And also, I was a little concerned that I would not be able to handle it in terms of the bandwidth and actually uploading it onto the internet.
Hopefully,
here we go.
Too scared. So sit back, turn off the lights, and I hope you enjoy.
Oh my god. Alright, so I sound fairly professional when I actually release this. And what's interesting is, this is not the first time I actually recorded this. I actually recorded this about 6 or 7 times before I actually continued this. I would get about 10 to 15 minutes into recording this, and I would actually have to give up because I was so bad. The very first version of this, I actually scrapped completely. When I did the playthrough and I actually listened back to it, there were so many ums and so many ahs, and I stuttered so often. It was so bad.
Cool.
Also, the audio equipment that I was using at the time was pretty terrible, and my voice was really low through most of it, so I actually had to redo it a couple of times. So this version that you're actually seeing is probably about my 6th or 7th attempt, I think it was, of actually doing this, and I was absolutely sweating through the entire thing. I mean, I'd never played a game and had to entertain someone at the same time, and I had to constantly remind myself, I have to talk, because I would be doing something and I just wouldn't pay attention to talking. I'd be so into the game or so just concentrating on the game that I would completely forget. And actually, in my early days of recording these kind of gameplays, I actually put sticky notes on my monitor that just said, don't forget to talk, or talk, so that I would remind myself that I actually had an audience. Because there's no one to connect to, I would constantly forget that there would be somebody at the other end listening to this later on.
Come out wherever you are.
And you can hear the introduction of what I would call CaptDeadmeat. The biggest problem I had at the beginning of my career on YouTube was I came from a background of work where I had to be so serious to then go into an environment like YouTube where you actually can be your true self. You can be fun, you can be silly, ridiculous, and CaptDeadmeat obviously is a overhyped version of that. And so I had a battle, especially in the first couple of years of my YouTube channel, of being very serious and hi guys and welcome to the channel, and then being the CaptDeadmeat and how are you and good to see you guys and let's go and do this and just be completely stupid and over the top. It took me a long time to sort of break out of that shell and forget about the seriousness. And it certainly helped once I moved into an environment where everything was set up to record just for YouTube, where every time I stepped up to the desk, it was like, okay, and here we go, CaptDeadmeat, let's go. Let's turn on the excitement. Let's go, guys. G'day, guys. How's it going? I'm CaptDeadmeat, and welcome to the channel, and that kind of excitement. And if you listen to the early playthroughs, especially of like Until Dawn, that is very, very different. It's very, very serious, very, good day guys, how's it going? Good to see you. But that's like most people when they start a channel. They start out fairly quiet, fairly low, and they come out of the shells eventually.
Upstairs, while the hanky-panky was going on.
Okay, so the next thing that we're looking at is a game by the name of Rampage. I'm sure a lot of you older players have actually heard of a game like this. This is actually an old arcade game. You see, when I started the channel a while ago, I sat down with a friend of mine by the name of Bunky and discussed the idea of actually doing retro games on my channel. Obviously, both of us being a little bit older and in the gaming area, we both had a love for the old school type games, and he has a huge knowledge of the old games. So I came up with this idea of creating a series of videos by the name of Retro Rampage. The idea would be to go and have a look at some of the old classic, like arcade games and like old console games and things like that, and we would do playthroughs of those. And so this is the very, very first one. Obviously, we wanted to do Rampage as our very first game because, well, I mean, it was called Retro Rampage, and we made an awesome intro, and Bunky and I would sit down and play. And then these ones, we would actually be sitting side by side at a desk with a controller in the middle, and we'd have two microphones. And unfortunately, when we would record this, the audio mixer that I had, because the microphones were so close together, they would pick up his audio, pick up my audio, but then my microphone would also pick up his audio, which means Bunky was always louder than I was. And we had a problem with fiddling around with it, and I managed to fix it in the later parts of the times. But it was a lot of fun doing these because, you know, Bunky and I would get together and we would play through 5 or 6 different games in one day, record a whole bunch of these episodes.
It's amazing. All right, it's on now. Jukes up.
We would constantly do stupid stuff like this, constantly fight amongst ourselves. We would come up with stupid catchphrases. And the greatest thing about doing the retro stuff with Bunky is he has such a huge knowledge of the old retro games that it was like he was the teacher and I was the student learning all the stuff about. I mean, I always knew different types of retro games, but Bunky knew all the sorts of details about these games, what companies made them, what year they came out, the stupid little secrets that nobody knew about. And was always good fun to learn that kind of stuff.
They're out of Adelaide.
Okay, so by now, in the early stages of my channel, Fortnite has finally come out, and it is starting to become popular. And obviously, we all know what happened with Fortnite, it becoming one of the biggest games in the world. But at the beginning, people weren't entirely sure whether or not this was going to take off. But it started to become huge, and people started to make lots of content on Fortnite. And obviously, as a YouTuber who was slowly starting to build his following, obviously I was going to jump on Fortnite. The funny thing was, when I first started playing Fortnite, I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with Fortnite, unlike a lot of my other friends who seemed to enjoy it, but just didn't really connect with it. Fortnite, for me, just seemed to be the perfect type of game for me. Battle Royale game that you enjoyed building, that enjoyed the combat, but also had this fun, cartoonish look to it, which meant that I began to make more and more content for Fortnite. Obviously, at the time, at the beginning of the game, everybody sucked at Fortnite. People were not the greatest at building, people were not the greatest at winning the games or combat, and so I came up with this idea of a series called The Road to Victory Royale. The idea would be, every time I made a video, I would keep making videos until such time as I got a Victory Royale. I made my first video, and then on my second video, I got a Victory Royale. And I must admit, when this first started, when I first tried to do this, when we're at this stage and then down to last person, I was so panicked. My heart was beating 100 miles an hour because I'm just thinking to myself, I've just got to win it. I've just got to win it. So that way I've got my video. And at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, I've got to talk to my audience. I've got to tell them what's going on. And as you can hear,
Come on out, baby.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying the occasional word here and there. I was just so centered on trying to win. I'm like, oh my god, there he is. He's on the roof. Oh my god, I can do it. Yep. Oh, and look, I'm even like shooting. Oh, yes. And there you go. My first ever Victory Royale. One of my favorite types of games to play is the prop hunt type hide and seek games that seem to be appearing in all sorts of games. I mean, we have it in Call of Duty. There's now Fortnite and obviously things like Gmod and stuff like that. And sometimes when you do prop hunt, you can sit there and be silent the entire time, people run past you and that's fine. Occasionally something happens that just is so funny that you could never have planned for it because just of how stupid it actually is. This is one of my favorite moments of all times when recording. This was a prop hunt that we did on the old World War II Call of Duty. And I had this idea that if you dressed as a tree, you could get on top of the giant gun, and the people were so stupid that they would not realize that there was a tree sticking out of the giant gun. And I said to Bunky, you can do this. And everyone agreed with me that it was so dumb, but there's no way that people will actually do it. So I said, if I'm a tree, I will go on top of the gun, and that is what happened. And as you can see...
This is the worst team I've ever seen.
As you can see, I am a tree on top of the giant gun, and the amount of times people ran backwards and forwards trying to find us and could not find us. They ran past me so many times.
Fucking ridiculous.
Oh my god. This brings back memories, it really does. See, look at this guy, he runs straight past me.
Yeah, bitch!
Hi, Bunk. Oh, bye, Bunk.
Oh, shit, man!
Where did you go?
GTA for me has been so much fun. It is a game where most of the guys will get together and hang out on the weekends and just do stupid stuff. It is a game where you can constantly go back, and even after 5 years of playing GTA, you can still find things to do. One day we found this wonderful glitch that allowed you to park trucks on a freeway, and if you agitated the drivers, they would drive off the end of the bridge. This is a moment that we must have spent maybe 3 or 4 hours doing this over and over again because it was so funny. We were absolutely in tears trying to do this, watching the cars just constantly drive off the edge. It is a game, I'm sure people have found the glitch before, and you can probably find who found it originally online. I don't know where I actually saw it. Chances are I probably saw it. Somebody on Twitter or Twitch, or who knows where I actually saw it. But it was something that I remembered and thought, oh, okay, I want to try this out. And it worked so funny. And just watching all the cars constantly driving off the edge was absolutely hilarious. And the guys had never seen it before, so showing it to them was so fun.
I'm hearing cows.
What?
I told you. Look, it's just through here.
Okay, Minecraft is one of those games that everybody's had a go at. And there are so many fun things that can happen in Minecraft. And I love recording in Minecraft. But this moment here is by far one of my favorite moments because I was never expecting it. For those people who don't know what is going on in this clip, and you can actually check out the full video obviously on my channel, there was a moment when we were recording in Minecraft when Deckers and Salty Cookie and I were playing for the very first time. You see, Deckers decided one day that he couldn't join us for one of the sessions, so we decided to punish him by doing things to his house. When he logged back in, he decided that he wanted to get a little bit of revenge, and this started this fun, weird war between the three of us where we would do stuff to each other and to their houses and the items and things like that. But I came up with a plan to do something much larger. See, I wanted to mess with their minds, not just ruin their houses. So what I built was this gigantic underground ark where I'd move all of the animals from up above down below every time we'd play. So after everybody had finished for the night and everybody had logged off, I would stay in there just so that I could get stuff for thumbnails and intro videos and things like that. But what I was actually doing was secretly moving all the animals down underground. And so every time people would log back in, we'd all be like, where's all our animals gone? They would be constantly thinking, oh, they're despawning or things like that. And we'd go and get more, and eventually we would have a full pen, and then I would very quietly move them all back down under again. I was doing this for months. Well, unfortunately, while we were exploring one day, Cookie came across a hidden underground cave, and we were following it, and it somehow led us to the wall right behind the cow enclosure underground. And when they broke through, that's when they found my secret hideout. Well, you don't think they were a little confused, and I was trying desperately to try to think of a way to think that I didn't have anything to do with this, but obviously I had to come clean and explain the entire thing to me. They were dumbfounded at the idea that I'd been doing this for months. And the interesting thing that came from it was they were under the assumption that, okay, this was the weird and wacky mad plan that I had been doing to the guys, When in actual fact, I've actually been planning a couple of other, even bigger things to happen. But unfortunately, we actually finished working on this series of Minecraft, and we actually started another series a little bit later on. And that just meant that I never got a chance to do some of those other things to the guys. But that doesn't matter, because I'm sure we will go back to Minecraft at some stage. And that'll give me a chance to do those things to them as well.
No!
What?
Well, there you go, guys. That is a look at what has been going on in the last 5 years. And the question is, what is next? Well, there is so much more to come. I have brand new ideas for videos. We're going to be doing so much more. We're going to be expanding into different types of games. We're going to be trying VR stuff. And as always, I want to hear from you guys. If there are any games or types of videos you would like me to make, please let me know in the comments below. I'm always interested to hear what you guys have to say. And before I go, guys, I would like to say again a huge thank you to everybody who has come and joined me on my channel, who has liked, subscribed, commented, or just watched my content. I've always enjoyed doing this, and I will continue to do this for another 5 years and many, many more beyond that. So until next time, guys, thank you very much, and don't forget to respawn.